It's a finding out there which is perturbing me personally. And if you've heard about it, I'm sure that you're also disturbed about it, and it must be of utmost concern to you. Now, the FDA and UNICEF have collectively researched and come out with a very alarming finding, which they describe as dangerous. That's how they've described it. Dangerous high levels of lead in the blood of youngins in our country, especially in the Greater Accra and Northern region. Now, experts are telling us that this exposure comes from contaminated cosmetics, white clay, spices, cookware, soil, and e-waste activities. I'm sure you've heard about this whole daddy-saying phenomenon going on. We've used it for our banku, our kokonte. That's what we've cooked in for generations. And now we are being told that it does have high levels of lead, so we must be wary of using those type of utensils. But let's get into it this morning. Let's get to understand what lead does when it enters your body, the most common and hidden household products and all of that. Well, there was actually a survey, or there was a summit that we want to bring to you before we get into the discussion this morning. Let's take a look.
Heavy metals are, should I say, chemicals that when they get into us in small quantities, they can really have a terrible effect. It can be neurological, it can attack, it can cause cancer. It worries our children. What we say that they say, or the metal pots that we use, it's unfortunate you can't see with your eyes, but those that have been made with lead, you need to avoid. And that means that probably when you are buying, you should check with the people you are buying from that has lead been used. It might be a difficult answer to get, but if you could avoid it, why not leave it, And then we also, in the results, we're talking about ayilo or shri. Those from the north may call it farinkasa. Ayilo is not food. However, because of what has happened, the test that FDA did, we've been able to see that some contain it. So even some Tom Brown that we also came across also were contaminated also in that same way. They should stop using them. The Food and Drug Authority with Standards Authority and state agencies would work with them.
And that's the Deputy CEO of the Food and Drugs Authority. Well, with me in studio this morning is also a toxicologist. He's been here on the show before. That time we talked about PCOS, but this morning we are talking about dangerous lead levels in children, especially in the Greater Accra and Northern region. Yakubu, Adam, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Yourself?
I'm disturbed, so I'm not doing too good at the moment because these results are very, very alarming. Yeah. But I just want to understand what informed this survey. What was the reason that it was carried out?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning to you and your listeners and viewers. UNICEF is United Nations Children's Funds. They actually focus on children health. Yeah. So they've realized that recently there are a lot of preterm babies, stillbirth, and maybe low intellectual or intelligence quotients. So this actually triggered the survey because they realized that children that comes up nowadays, IQ levels are very low. Sometimes to pregnant women who end up losing their child or give birth earlier or have some kind of miscarriages. Right. And this United Nations Children's Fund is actually focused on the welfare of children. So they actually came out with a survey, what is likely going to cause these kind of abnormalities. Right. And one of the heavy metals of concern that can be associated with these abnormalities was the lead. So they tried to do the survey to actually see whether some of our food items in our country are actually contaminated with this lead. So they actually did it across the 16 regions of this country. So they actually surveyed, I think, surveyed about 1,631 food items that we use, not necessarily food items that we use, and they came out with this finding that Tom Brown, Kaji Kaji, Ailo, and Tom Brown, and what have you.
What did you say? Tom Brown?
Yeah.
Normal Tom Brown that we eat every day?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let's get into it. You've mentioned Tom Brown, and from what I also have here, cosmetics is part of it.
Yeah.
White clay, ayilo,
Yeah,
you have mentioned as well. Spices.
Yeah.
Which kinds?
Turmeric.
Cookware. That's
the
that is saying
Yeah.
that we are talking about. Now that is saying when one year benkuni kukunte from our infancy, we didn't get these alarming results then. What's happening now?
Now everything has become modernized. At first, you don't also even put on makeups. We have a powder, we have a stone that we grind and powder our face to be to use as makeup. But now everything has been modernized. We now have foundation and everything. So the same thing happens to the cookware. So the initial one, the olden days, are mostly free from lead. But the recent one, the modern one, that contains this lead, because now energy is expensive.
Right.
Yeah, so trying to use high energy to actually melt your raw materials to mold them into your design now becomes a concern economically. So in order to reduce this economic cost, then we have to reduce your energy consumption. And one way of reducing energy consumption is to add lead to it, because of its property of low melting point and easily some properties like ductility, and also malleability, how malleable it can be. So they add the lead just to decrease the energy that they will use to melt this raw material, and adding the lead will decrease the energy consumption. So they do this economically.
So tell us, what's happening to our children in the greater Accra and in the northern region? How is this affecting them?
Okay, so during the survey, they realized that 80% of the kaji that was sampled were actually contain lead. And
when you say kadi, are we talking about that black substance that they used to line their eyes?
Yeah, what they call the traditional eyeliner.
Right.
You know, it's mostly used often by the people at the north.
Right.
Yeah, they use it to, you know, add to enhance their beauty. So it's also a cosmetic, traditional cosmetics. But the findings that came out, they realized that 100% of the kaji, everything was lead.
But what was this kadi produced with that now we are finding out that it contains so much lead? What is the lead doing in there? Okay,
at first they were using an ore called the galena. That's the stibnite. It's a type of rock or metal that is found in the earth crust alongside other heavy metals. So that's what was used initially.
Right.
That's the, what's the name, sulfide compound.
But now it's
mineral.
been
That was what used. But now they've added a lot of lead to it. And the lead, that makes it more shiny.
Right.
Yeah, that makes it more shiny, and it will stay at that place for a very long time. That's why they added these, what's the name, this lead. But from the survey that was done, they realized that now they fade out the initial raw material, and they are using 100% lead to actually manufacture this kaji.
So what's happening to the brains of our children? How is this affecting them?
Okay, so it affects the children. The lead exposure affects children and also women in their reproductive ages. Okay. Yes, so starting from.
So it's not just children.
Yes, just
women
just
in their reproductive age as well.
Yeah, because when you assimilate or when you are exposed to this lead, when they get into you through inhalation or through injection or sometimes through skin contact, when they get into you, it gets distributed. Some gets into your brain, your kidney, your liver, and also stores in your bone. So if you are pregnant and you when you are pregnant, now the stored lead in your bones will now start releasing into your bloodstream. That is going to affect the developing fetus. And that can lead to miscarriages or maybe preterm baby or maybe a baby with malformation. Now, aside that, to children that are also born, when they are exposed to this mercury, when they are exposed to this lead, research have shown that they absorb faster. They absorb faster than that of an adult. So they absorb like 4 to 5 times faster than that of adults. When it gets into them, it can also lead to neurological problem because it can pass through the blood-brain barrier. Because when children are born, they have their blood-brain barrier is not really mature. So it can pass through that barrier and get into their brain. And also, they lack the capacity to also break down or metabolize this lead because they are not mature. So they don't have mature liver to break down these compounds. So it end up accumulating in them and end up maybe depositing in certain organs, which can lead to impairment of those organs.
But let me ask you, Adam, so is the layman, just like me, able to just take a look at somebody and know that, no, this person may have high levels of lead? Are we just able to see?
So there are certain clinical manifestations that are associated with lead exposure.
Okay.
Yes, but mostly when at little concentration, mostly it hardly to manifest clinically.
You won't see it.
But it will be causing certain harm into you unless maybe the harm has gotten to its end stage. But some of the signs and symptoms that are associated with this lead exposure will be maybe anemia. So the person will now like you will feel fatigue and also maybe short of breath because you are having anemia, so it can lead to short of breath, and also you become whitish, paler. These are some of the signs. Or sometimes you have something we call the wrist drop, where your hand will be like this, and you can't straighten it.
Wow.
Yeah, or sometimes you can check the person's teeth under the teeth, around the gum, where the gum meets the teeth itself. You see that there are some bluish lines in there.
Right.
Yes, these are all signs of lead toxicity or lead exposure.
To tell me, are all of these things you're talking about reversible?
Some are irreversible. When it's persistent in you, it causes irreversible damage.
Wow.
But when it gets into you and you are not frequently exposed to this lead, your body has a way of restoring itself by releasing it or excreting out from your body. But when you persistently or consistently exposed to this lead, then it can lead to bioaccumulation. That can lead to a lot of problems.
Look, all these things that you have mentioned, in a way or another, affect all of us. We are all eating from these dirty sands. We're using cosmetics, we're using spices every day with our food and
one
all
thing
of
I want
that.
to mention is the kanzo.
Kanzo
People like
so nye.
consuming kanzo.
Kanzo
And one
so
thing is
say
that when
nye.
you are cooking food and in that saying,
Aye.
yes, this that contains this lead. This lead gets leached into this kanzo there. The kanzo. So the more you eat kanzo, you are likely to expose yourself to lead when that food was cooking the cookware. Or aside that, too, burnt food also produces a new compound called the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are also carcinogenic.
Slow down for us, because this one, the boys will be upset with you this morning. Because kanzo is life, kanzo is everything.
But when
did jollof kanzo da? If this is what is happening, then we are gradually losing our livelihood, because these are things that we've lived on for years. These are things that gets all of us excited and all of that.
That's why we are also facing a lot of problems, and we don't know the sources of all these things. And this kanzo all contains polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and it's a probable carcinogen.
So what would you say we should use in cooking our meals right now? Stainless steel?
Stainless steel, cast iron, and clay pots, and all these things are there.
Wow.
Yeah, but we shouldn't also go in for non-stick cookware. It's more deadlier than the lead, which I think it will be a topic for another day. Yes.
But there are treatments available, aren't there?
For lead, lead, when you're exposed to, when it gets to irreversible damage, there's nothing you can do about it. So now you realize that our children are having low IQ, and we don't understand, because how can you fail social studies? So all these things can be an attributing factor.
Advise us in 30 seconds before you go. What must we do?
So,
lifestyle changes and all of that?
So the government must put in holistic policy in place and empower the EPA and the FDA to carry out this work. They have to make sure that they consistently check our product and what have you. Even this report, this research was even funded by UNICEF. So it wasn't even funded by Ghanaian government.
Yeah.
So we don't have the money, we don't have the resource. But we have the men, the EPA and the FDA, who are in charge for all these things. So we should turn our attention and focus and use more money, dedicate more funds to that area. Else, at the end of it, we are all going to suffer the implication.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for your education this morning. Yakubu Adam is a toxicologist, and you're being advised this morning, if you enjoy your kanzo, you may want to slow down on it, because you will be exposing your body to high levels, dangerous high levels of lead. Avoid some cosmetics as much as possible. Check the type of spice that you use in cooking, and especially your cooking pans as well. Make sure that they are stainless steel. Thank you so much for sticking and staying with us. Let's get into birthdays before we wrap up this morning. First to be celebrated this morning is Irene. May this new age bring you fulfillment. Let's also move on to celebrate Bismarck Baidu, CEO of Bisdo. Happy birthday to you, Bismarck. Kingsford, Fifi Afo Yolson, Nyamisha Obebre, it's your birthday. Alfred Obobi, wishing you more grace. Let's also celebrate Maureen Na Otobia Dodu. Happy birthday. Cheers to greatness, honey. Gladys Otu, you are beautiful. Happy birthday to you, baby girl. Nora Adabla Isiedu Mama. Happy birthday to you. Elizabeth Ankra, cheers to greatness. God bless you. Money sent in that one. Vida Asana, happy birthday to you. Mami Efua, cheers to another year. Enjoy. Let's also celebrate Enoch Akpalu, CEO of Current Multimedia. Happy birthday to you, young star. Pastor Romeo Jeffrey Anku, happy birthday to you, man of God. Nana, enjoy your day. It's from your husband, Ray of Media General. Siki, God bless you. It's from Mirabel. Enjoy your day. Madame Barbara Asamoah, such a lovely smile. It's from the Edus and the Sechis. Happy birthday to you. Now, Mr. Stephen Akwesi Afo, God bless you always. Happy birthday to you. Abigail from Poma of Calvary YPG, Nyamisha Obebre. Henry Akura Kofi Dakon, uncle, happy birthday to you. Kayla and Kylie, happy birthday to you, youngsters. You look so beautiful, so cute. Aisha Musa, happy birthday to you as well as from your family and friends. Moving on to celebrate Ellen Boateng. Your green dress is amazing. All right. Benedicta, it's also your birthday. Age with grace. Mr. Bacha, happy birthday to you is from Mrs. Parkins. Enoch Tete Cabo, happy birthday to you as well, youngster. Okay. I think that's it for the morning. Is that it? Rolly, do you have any birthdays today?
Yeah. Did you do one from Vida Asana?
I think I did that.
Vida
yes,
Asana.
I did that. Yeah, I did
Daryl?
that. I did that.
Did you do Vida Asana?
We did that, baby. We did that. We did that. We did that.
Today is the birthday of Roxanne Nelson.
That's Pierre Makpo.
Roxanne.
Oh.
Let's put up his picture. Sandra. Don't invite him again.
Is it South Dying or North? Yeah, South Dying.
He's
Yeah.
also the majority
chief whip. Yes. Happy
Fantastic
birthday
guy.
to you.
Fantastic guy. Roxanne Nelson.
Welcome back, baby.
Thank you. It's been amazing doing this.
I love your white shoes.
Thank you.
Put a
Today
camera on the white
Friday
shoes.
is not on because you are not teenage.
Now I'm back.
White
Now I'm
shoes.
back.
White shoes.
Propaganda.
Different, yeah.